Today, we had a stock that went up over 120% on breaking news, and that made it the leading percentage gainer in the entire market. Of course, I traded it, I got green, and this is going to be a recap of those trades. I also trade a couple other stocks. I'm red on one of them, and the third one is a small winner. So overall, a nice green day. Came up a little short of my daily goal, but we'll break that down in more detail as we get into the recap. I want to start high level by reiterating what we look for as active traders. I am a hunter of volatility and a manager of risk. I want to find things that are moving. I don't make money by buying a stock at $2 and selling it at $2. It's a break-even trade. I want to buy a stock at $2 and sell it at $4. That's a 100% return. And if I could do that inside of 30 minutes, that's an incredible day trade. Okay, what's going to send a stock up 100% in 30 minutes? It's going to be the company putting out a press release. And so that's ultimately what is the catalyst for these moves. And sometimes people will ask me, Ross, how do you sift through all of the news headlines? Because there's, thousands and thousands of publicly traded companies that are putting out news all the time to figure out the ones that are going to make this big move. You seem like you're really good at just getting on it quick. And I am. And it's because I'm not searching for breaking news headlines. I'm searching for stocks that are breaking out of their standard deviation and starting to make a big move. So basically, I'm using stock scanners, and these are like radar. They are searching the market, and as soon as something starts popping up outside its typical range, beep, 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 I'm getting an alert. I pull up that stock immediately, and then I see, oh, yeah, it has news. So I'm not looking for the news. I'm looking for the stock moving. And then I see the catalyst. And that's exactly what happened today on CPOP. So we'll jump onto the screen share and I'll show you what this looks like. These are my scanners on the left-hand side of the screen right here. So these scanners are searching the entire market right here. This is my top gainers scanner, and it's showing CPOP right now sitting at an 84% gainer. 84 is right here. It's got 58 million shares of volume, which is a tremendous amount of volume. And if we look down here into the stock quote window, we'll see the news this morning, that we've got some news headlines on it. So this is a stock that put out news. Actually, the move began after hours yesterday. So at about it's 4 o'clock or something like that yesterday, it starts squeezing up. This stock closed yesterday at about $1.70 a share, so a pretty cheap stock, and this morning hit a high of nearly $4.50, which is a really solid move. Okay, so the way I look at this, when I first sat down this morning, and when I sit down each morning, even before I get on my computer, what I'm doing is I'm pulling up my scans on my phone. I'm checking to see what the leading percentage gainers look like on this particular day. So I saw CPOP was the leading percentage gainer. I saw that the price was under 20, which is good. As an active day trader and someone who has historically focused on trading in small accounts, I don't like a stock like this one. This is too expensive at $78 a share. And even $14 and $18 are a little high, and 48 is definitely too high. I really prefer stocks priced between roughly I would say roughly between 2 and 20. And, for what it's worth, this is backed up by my historical data here. This is, I think, 8 years of historical data, and it's showing my profitability across, let's see, how many trades is this? 27,000 trades, $11 million in gross profit. But if we look at the details here of day of the week, we could see the day of the week, but we could also see price and volume. And you'll see that I make the most money on stocks between 5 and 10. So it's not just like I think this is what I do the best on. This is what the actual data is telling me. So then I apply that each day when I'm looking at stocks that are hitting my scanners. If I'm seeing something that's hitting the scanner like SELZ and it's priced as high as this is, I'm going to immediately say, no, that's not going to work for me. I could just be pretty much certain that that's not the one for me. So anyway, CPOP was our leader this morning, so got focused in on that. And I pulled up the chart. And actually what I did first was I looked at the 5-minute time frame. This is a 5-minute candlestick chart right here. And I hadn't drawn these blue lines yet, so I'll remove those. So I was looking at it just like this. And as I sat down, it was just before 8 a.m. Let's see. sorry, actually it was just after, it was about 7:30. I pulled it up here. I saw it starting to move away. And the next thing I did was I pulled up my level 2 window and I watched it tap $2.98. I can use the 10-second chart to show you the moment that I got in. You'll be able to see pretty clearly where I got in and why I got in there. Okay, so right here, see how we tapped $3? I'm not sure if you can see that. Let me zoom in for you. So right here, oops, sorry. Why does it do that? There we go. So right here, we tapped $3. We came up to 298 right there. And we tapped that level, we dipped down, and then as we punched through, that was the spot where I was like, okay, I'm going to add to this position. Added right here 5,000 shares at $3, and it pops to 320. I made $800 on that one 1-minute candle, which is really, I mean, that's solid. Really can't complain about that at all. Now, I took the profit off the table, and it ends up pulling back, it dips back down, and it kind of goes sideways here. So during this period, I was like, well, now it's becoming very thickly traded. There's a lot of buyers on the bid. There's a lot of sellers on the offer. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get another nice trade on this. So it ends up going sideways for a while, dips back down, comes back up. And in this area, to be honest, it's just choppy. There's really nothing to trade here. And so I didn't trade it at all. It starts to move back up over 3, but it was kind of jumpy. And realistically, these moves were relatively small. Right in here, we did have a nice break from about 310 up to 329. I didn't take it. I just wasn't sure it was going to work. Then it pulls back, punches up to 340 before dipping back down. Now it's going sideways again. As we came back up towards 340, and this took a little while, we come back up a little bit later, I said, you know what, I'll take a stab, and this was as it broke through 350. Now what you see here is we got this dramatic flush right here, big flush, then it bounces back up, squeezes up to 70. I got in right here on this pullback for this little push higher. I was hoping we would go up to 380 and 390. I was hoping that was the beginning of the move really pulling away, but that ended up not being the case. Kind of went sideways, selling off, and then at the open, we did this red to green move, which is where the price goes red and then rips back up here into the green. So a little red to green move. Anyways, hits a high there, showing more choppiness. And at that point, I was like, all right, I think I've done as well as I can on this. I just don't see this giving me a whole lot more. It's becoming too thickly traded. It's becoming too crowded. And this is what often happens with these. They're good at the beginning of the move. And then once the MACD crosses over that kind of first time, they start to get thickly traded. It starts to be more of a battle between the buyers and the sellers. And although you can make a little bit more, usually it's just not super clean. So on CPOP, I only made $1,387. And I was definitely held back by the fact that I've been saying I won't trade more than 5,000 shares until I'm first up $1,000. Now, as you know, I had a red day on Monday. It was a max loss day. I spiraled. I went down nearly $9,000. It was $8,900. Call it 9,000. Round up to 10,000 if you want. It was a bad day. Came back Tuesday. I reset and I was focused. I maintained discipline, but I was red on Tuesday 1,600. So now I'm red 10,600 on the week. Came back yesterday, was up 5,500. Closed the day up 4,500. So it was a good day. Today, sat down, was hoping to see some really nice moves. Didn't really get a lot. Got myself up 1,000. So once I was up over 1,000, I said, okay, I'm going to increase my share size. And typically I would just take the cap off completely. But today I said, I'm just going to increase it to 10,000 shares. Let's stay a little bit moderate and not do anything crazy. So I lifted to 10,000 shares and got that trade with on CPOP with 10,000. But I just started feeling like, if this was going to be a good day, I'd be up quite a bit more than I am now. It feels like it's just not happening. And the more trades I take, the more risk I'm running of giving back the profit I've made. Now, TGL and TAOP are the two other stocks I traded today. We'll look at TGL first. TGL popped up with news at 8 a.m. And I jumped in it as it started to pop up. And thankfully, I only bought small share size. As you can see, this squeezed up, but it reversed. It did not hold its levels at all. It was a pretty nasty reversal. So that ends up going red, and on that I lost. Well, actually, I made $294. So it hit the scanners, and that was right about here, about 255, 260. That's where I got in, knowing that this had breaking news, and I took profit at 6. It hit a high of 620 and then reversed back down. I think I bought 500 shares or maybe 300, something like that. It was a small position. So small position, breaking the ice, just trying to see if, this was going to work, but it didn't. What I liked about it was that the price is between 5 and 10. The float is low and it had news. So everything kind of checked out from that perspective. The daily chart showing it's sort of a curling setup. These can work really well for me. So I was like, this could work, but anyways, it rejected. And then the next stock was TAOP. So TAOP, this one also had news. And you could see here, this squeezed from 80 cents all the way to $1.50. I actually got in at $1.44 or 45. The reason I got in there was because I noticed on the level 2 that there was a big buyer on the bid. And I thought, all right, if there's a buyer on the bid supporting it, this might, this might push a little bit higher. And that was, let's see, where was that? That was right in this area. So I bought right in this area here, and I stopped out with a $24 loss. So no big deal, really. Like, doesn't matter. It's a small loss. But I think the fact is, red on this one, not much on this one, and it wasn't clean. And CPOP became very crowded and very thickly traded and has become a tug of war. So that one wasn't very clean. So I think, and for what it's worth, on Tuesday, I was up about 1,500 before I flipped to red 1,600. Probably should have just walked away and taken the small base hit on Tuesday, especially after being red Monday. And I'm going to go ahead and do that today. So is it a home run day? No. But, 10 days of $1,600 is 16,000. I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to just, kind of grind on these numbers, try to bring in a little bit of money, recoup some of the losses from Monday, and, get myself back in the driver's seat. And to be honest, even after 3 days, so today's my 3rd day now of maintaining discipline and following my rules. I had a 27-day streak of maintaining discipline and following rules that ended on Monday. I'm disappointed that happened, but I'm also going to let myself off the hook because I'm only human, and this is the challenge of being a trader. The emotions, they crept up on me a little bit. So that was Monday. It is what it is. Tuesday, bounced back, focus came right back. Wednesday, focus was right back. Thursday, focus is right here. So now I've got 3 consecutive days of discipline. Not 3 consecutive green days. That doesn't matter. It's okay to have a red day. Successful red days are when you're red, but you followed all your rules of your strategy. That's fine. You're going to be red 20% of the time anyways, because this is trading. So just be good at being red. Take the loss and move on. And now I feel a little bit more confident. I feel recentered. I guess I've made back about half of the loss from Monday. And typically what I say is I keep myself in, with the training wheels on pretty tight, the guardrails, until I have made back about half the loss. And then I start to let them up a little bit. Now, the fact is, what guardrails would I be letting up right now? Well, I kind of have been trading as if I've been in trader rehab for the last 8 weeks, because every morning I start with small share size until I've broken the first kind of milestone of $1,000. Now, I guess in true sort of trader rehab, I would just walk away when I'm up 1,000 after the first trade. I wouldn't keep pushing. So I could trade a bit more frequently. Maybe on a day like today, when I had more confidence, I would stay longer and wait for something to pop up. But right now, I kind of need the small wins. I need to kind of build that consistency, but gain a little bit of momentum. And I'm hoping tomorrow that we have some good news catalysts. The biggest thing yesterday, the reason I made as much as I did, it wasn't that I traded better than I traded today. What was different was we had more stocks with news. And that was what gave me the profit. I had like 3 stocks that were very similar to CPOP, and I was up $1,500 or so on all 3. That put me up $4,500 on the day. So if we have some good news tomorrow, then I could have a great day. And if we don't, then it'll be a slow day. So I could be hopeful that we have some nice news catalysts, but I also have to be totally okay with the very real possibility that it could be slow. I might only have 1 or 2 stocks I trade. And if I only make a little bit, or I'm even within my parameters, then that's okay. That's no big deal. I just don't want to have a setback from the standpoint of discipline. That is the most important thing to cultivate right now. And, whenever I'm talking with new traders, it's always like discipline, discipline, discipline. That is the secret, being a disciplined trader. All right. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, I hope you hit the thumbs up. I hope you subscribe to the channel. And I'll remind you as always that trading is risky. My results aren't typical, and there's no guarantee you'll find success as a trader, whether you learn from me or you learn on your own. So manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning.